In progress.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Yo, man. Boom, Miss Rusty. Boom, Miss Rusty. I'm going to get to, I don't even know. I keep saying I'm going to go and check the level, see where I need to do it. I move this mic thing around all the time. So it's just going to maybe get a few booms. Who doesn't want an extra boom, boom? Maybe a boom, boom, boom. I'm going to start sounding like the Black Eyed Peas or something, or I believe that's the Black Eyed Peas. Someone in the comments, let me know. I don't know. Boom, boom, boom. The boom, boom. If you want to go look at more boom, boom. There's boom, boom. If you look up boom, boom on the internet, I don't know what's going to pop up, but it's not about that because you're listening to the public access podcast, the podcast on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGBN, here with many fine other podcasts here on the network that you can check out here on Rumble TV, iHeartRadio, and YouTube if we don't talk about stuff that will get me kicked off of YouTube, such as the podcast yesterday. I could not upload to YouTube. So that's a Rumble TV and podcast exclusive. So thanks, YouTube. Maybe you'll pay me some more. Anyhow, that's not what it's about either today. Today it's about bringing on a special guest because that's what I have. I have special guests on here because I get to. Ha, 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 ha. And I'm going to bring that special guest in. I want to bring that special guest on right here, right now. And here's our special guest, Silke Harvey. How are you doing?
Hi there. I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's appreciated.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I saw that you. So when people reach out to me here, I put out my feelers, and I've gotten pretty selective about who I pick on here, who I feel I can have a conversation with, and who's going to be bringing interest in life into this podcast and not only. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna be feeling like I'm pulling teeth from who I'm talking with, and I can
Sure.
usually get a pretty quick feel of it. And yeah, having someone that's going to be someone that I'm going to learn something myself and get to experience something that I'm enjoying myself. Whereas I hope, everyone listening is getting to enjoy that as well. So,
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
so, so first off, I see in your background that you have a sewing machine back there. It's an older sewing machine. What do you work on back there?
Um, Nothing. I Years ago I got this mad idea that I'm going to teach myself sewing, but because I like old things, I sourced an old 1920s Singer sewing machine, one of those treadlers, and tried to use it, failed miserably, and it's just been standing there as a lovely ornament since. And I just like it.
Yeah, I mean it's an let's see, it's a conversation starter of sorts.
It is.
As and so when you bought it, it came with the whole table and everything, correct?
Yes, it came as it stands, fully functional. It's just me who's not functioning on it.
The function now is holding papers, and
Yeah. Yeah,
so
thanks.
yeah. So did you have to move that in? Is your place, was it hard to move that uh thing? And I've looked at sewing machines, and that's usually, I mean, because one, you have to get that into your car. If you have a truck, great, but if you have a car, it's a little harder. And then two, getting it into your place, especially if you have stairs. Was this an easy transition getting it to where it is
Y-
right now?
Yes, it was easy. I was lucky. The company selling it on eBay also had like delivery options, so the guys just brought it, and I live in a house, no stairs, so they just literally carried it in, and I've
Oh,
enjoyed it.
so it was a local eBay person.
Sort of local. They did come a few miles, and they obviously charged for the delivery, but hey, it
Sure.
saved me the hassle.
Yeah, that ain't, it's not too bad of a deal. Because yeah, I mean, I know that those have some value, and plus, yeah, they're always cool to look at and
Hmm.
see, and especially if you can maybe one day get to using it. Did you end up buying material? Do you have material sitting around that
Yes, tons of material. Lots of ideas in my head, just no way of actually doing it.
you think that may get repurposed somehow into some other project? Either the
Um,
material or the sewing machine itself?
Probably not the sewing machine, but the materials, yeah. I I'll probably end up hand stitching like I've done most of my life. I'm pretty good at that.
What do you like to hand stitch?
Um, Curtains, cushions, anything that's needed around the house, really.
So do you do those curtains in the background that I'm seeing?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's not a bad deal. Get, it's you
Hmm.
get to choose what you want. You don't have are limited to the, only options that you see at the store. You get to make what you
Exactly,
want, and
exactly.
that's not a bad deal. And
Yeah,
so then also, okay, so your books. So you are an author.
I'm an
Uh
author.
you're an
Yes.
author. Got into book writing, and
Hmm.
so um so let me see. So I have a number of questions I like going off with this with authors. So first off, with your book, was it the idea, was it written out, and did you just come up with like ideas and put it into sort of a outline form, or did you just sit down and start writing it and just go and edit later?
Yeah. Well, these books in the background here are compilation books, so each book has got about 15 authors in that because I'm a publisher as well, and that's what I do. I publish multi-author books. So
Oh, okay.
each author writes one chapter, which is like 3,000 words. So there's not a lot of structure there because it's more just like writing a long blog post or a long essay. But um, I've just completed my own first solo book, which is launching very shortly, which is this 7 chakras writing journey, and that's actually a method that I teach how to get over writer's block and how to write your book. So yes, that obviously has a lot of structure to it because I've been thinking about how I'm teaching and then putting that into book form.
So, what's your stance on writer's block? Because I've heard different authors talk about writer's block different ways, and have I have a different solution for writer's block as well. And I like, because I don't know, because I take I've heard some people say that, writer's block is, is a thing or is not a thing, or and also, how, I mean, how much will you let it affect you, I guess, is what it comes down to. And um so did you experience writer's block at some point? Is that what happened? And then you decided to write about it, or?
Um, I get writer's block quite regularly, and I think anybody who writes for a living day after day does because we're just like humans, we're not machines. You can't get up every morning and sit down at your computer and think, hey, this is what I'm going to do today. So as a writer, you got to just simply find ways of coping with it, because writer's block is, like you said, very much, what you make of it in your own mind, how badly you let it affect you. But I also found with all the authors I worked with in my books, they experienced exactly the same. And then I also noticed from myself and from working with these women, there are some very simple solutions, some simple things you can implement to quickly get over it. Like, one of my favorite methods is, I always tell my authors, if you're sitting there staring at that screen and the cursor is just blinking away at you, get up, get away from the computer, take yourself for a walk, but don't forget to take your cell phone, because when you're on that walk, I want you to get your cell phone out and start dictating into it. Whatever comes to your mind, or even if you're thinking about your story, you will find that whilst you're walking out in nature, suddenly you will get all sorts of inspiration striking you. And then I just want you to speak it into your phone, and when you come back, you can edit it on your computer, but you will have your next piece of writing there, and there you are, you've got over your writer's block.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've had that a bunch with writing, and just being able to come up with all kinds of different stuff just by going on walks. That's when I always would end up with most of my material that I'd have would be from walks. I used to walk everywhere all the time, and all hours of the day, all hours of the night, just walking, and that was how I did it. And then once I stopped walking, then my productivity went way down. So I for sure see the significance of that. And one of the ways, because I've implemented it into hypnosis to be able to have people with writer's block come to me if they're experiencing that, and been able to work with them, at least be able to get them. So what I like doing is, I don't know where or what this is, or where you feel on this, or where I feel on this, even with the past life regression, and going and doing that, which I don't know for sure or exactly what it is, but every time your brain is going somewhere, and you're getting three very vivid stories and understanding of what's happening. And I really like doing that one to, bring someone a new idea with that. And so, and then I don't know, and writer's block is just, I mean, if you're writing every day, you have to switch it up and keep yourself. You can't just be sitting at the screen all day. And so when you're writing, when you're starting out, are you on your phone, or do you have a notepad? Do you have your computer? Do you have a typewriter? Do you have the chisel and a stone? What do you like using?
Combination of all, I think. It totally depends on the situation. When I'm in my office already and I'm doing things, and obviously I'm on my computer, then I just grab a Word document, or when I'm out and about, I use my cell phone. I don't tend to do handwriting very much, because I find it too tedious to type it all back out again later. I'm a bit lazy that way, so I love technology for that reason.
Thinking smarter.
Yep. Typewriters, well, I started out with them about 30 years ago, but again, going around with Tipp-Ex and correcting all your spelling mistakes later, it's just so time consuming. So I do a bit of both, and I actually like meditation as well very much. That's something I use a lot with my authors. So I take them on meditation journeys, and during the meditation I ask them to literally think of whatever the problem is that they couldn't overcome. if an author comes to me and says like, yeah, well, I want to write about, I don't know, the seaside, but it's just not coming to me. What should I write? I said, right, we go do a meditation. I tend to channel them spontaneously, take them on the beach in their mind, and give them a few prompts that help them to start thinking in the right direction. And then as soon as we come out the meditation, I ask them to do some spontaneous writing for 5 to 10 minutes, which is where you literally write down anything that has just come in your head during your meditation. You don't censor it, you don't edit it, you don't do anything, you write everything down.
And so when they are seeing it in their head, are you telling them to talk out loud? Are you having them just visualize it all in their head and then write it down what they think afterwards? So they have like a little extra if you have them. I mean, do you have them say it out loud at all? Or do they
no,
describe what they're saying?
They just meditate, the usual way, and then as soon as they come out of the meditation, they start writing. I don't even give them a couple of minutes to readjust. I literally, when they open their eyes, I say, pen, start writing, or whatever, or keyboard, or whatever they're using.
And that usually works pretty effectively to get them. I mean, with how long do you think they have before it starts to go away after they open their eyes? Before
that depends how much a person is into meditation. I find persons who meditate all the time can remember for much longer than somebody who's never done it before. So if you have a newbie there, it's really crucial that the moment they open their eyes, they grab something to write.
Yeah. And so do you ever find any sort of resistance of people not wanting to meditate or try that method out?
I never have yet, but there again, my main target audience is all female entrepreneurs who are pretty much in the spiritual world.
Okay.
So I guess they're all used to meditating, or at least have heard of it and are not adverse to it.
So how'd you decide to connect with that demographic of writer?
Because I'm an energy healer myself. I'm a Reiki Master, I'm a Chakra Dancing facilitator, I'm a Reiki drum practitioner. So I was doing all that stuff before the pandemic. I was actually having an offline business, going around doing Reiki treatments, and then transitioned online. So I very much still work with all that spiritual energy.
And so then you have, so they have that background. And then so are these writers, do you have some sort of process of them, submitting work and trying to figure out what fits in? Or are you finding these writers yourself, finding their work and then reaching out to them? Or how does that work for you?
Yep. And so when I get an idea for a book, like the book Strong and Free, for example, all about women who have broken up with society's expectations of how they should lead their lives and are leading their dream lives because of it. So when I knew I wanted to do these books, I started reaching out to female entrepreneurs who I thought might be a good fit and just got talking. And then those women who saw the benefit of it said yes to it. So I knew exactly who I was targeting as an author and who I wanted in the book. And there's even an application process to go through, so I can vet if they would be a good fit for the book. But they don't have to be professional writers. Here's the thing. Anybody can write, especially with today's technology and with a little bit of help. So I've even got women in the book who are non-native English speakers, and they still wrote the story in English, and by the time the proofreader and the editor polished it up, nobody would ever know.
Okay. And so then where are you? So this is a hard one, where are you with art in general, writing, whatever it may be with AI assistance? Where do you stand with that? Whereas AI can,
Mhm.
well, I mean, yeah, whatever we can do, they can pretty
Well,
much already do better.
my personal opinion is I've meddled a little bit because I got curious, but no matter how pretty the pictures look that get spat out of AI, they still don't look as good as when a person has sat down in Photoshop and done a real piece of art, or if somebody sat down and done a painting. So I can see that AI is very useful, especially in marketing, where the quality of the images is not necessarily the biggest concern. So it saves a lot of time for small businesses, and it also saves money because you no longer have to hire a graphic designer necessarily. But on the other side, I can't see it taking over anytime soon if you're talking real art and real quality images.
What about writing?
Same with writing. I don't think AI can ever have the feeling in it that a person can. I mean, it can turn out a perfect text in terms of grammar and structure, but it won't have any soul.
So, what about when it does? What about when it does have soul? I mean, do you think you're going to be embracing it, or you think you're going to be pushing back against it and sticking with
It
what?
depends. It depends. I mean, I can see the purpose of it for marketing, but for real writing, which I regard as an art, I would always still do that myself because I just wouldn't feel satisfied if I knew a machine done all my work because I actually like the process of writing. That's the whole point.
Right. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of the same for me on that one. I mean, there's yeah, with with writing or with music or even podcasting or
Mhm.
or jokes, doing comedy, doing stand-up
Yeah,
comedy. Like I I I mean, it's already surpassed me and kind of all those, and it can be frustrating.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I'm trying to learn how to work with it the best I can because I mean it's here and it's going to be
yeah,
interesting to see what happens. And I mean I mean, yeah, we can only be as smart as we are. I was talking about this yesterday on one of my
Mhm.
podcasts, and but this thing can you know get smarter and then
Yeah,
retrain itself and reprogram itself and then be able to do all kinds of stuff. And I mean, yeah, and then I see people that are putting out books, just boom boom boom, and
Mhm.
it's hard just yeah, I don't know, like even short books, children's books, people
yeah,
are doing that. I see those now, and it's it's frustrating, and it's yeah, you're not getting to take the time to do it. And I mean, like with music, I've spent days, weeks making a track, and then I can go and
Mhm.
tell this thing I want something with this specifics, and in 45 seconds I can do
yeah,
something that's better than I have. And so
yeah. But nobody can replace your individuality. Like if you play guitar, nobody will ever play a riff exactly like you do, not even AI. That's the beauty of music. I mean, I record as well, by the way. So
what do you do for music
uh,
wise?
I'm a bass player, and at the moment, I'm teaching myself songwriting and playing the ukulele as well.
I saw how'd you get into those? How'd you get into bass, playing the bass?
Well, many years ago, when I was still very young, my husband and I formed our first band, and I was playing keyboards at the time, but for love or money, we could not find a bass player. So he was guitarist, so he showed me a few chords on the bass, and like that's what I got stuck with for the next 30 odd years. Now we're no longer together, and I'm doing my own music, so I'm finding singing and soloing to the bass sucks a bit. So I picked up the ukulele, so I have a instrument to go along with the singing at least.
How's the transition from bass to ukulele as far as figuring out I mean, I guess in a way, I mean, even a ukulele is still, I mean, melody, but then it's also, I mean, I guess it could be like what was it? There is was it a bass ukulele that I saw?
Yeah, you
I'm
get
trying to
those.
think. Yeah, it was something wild. So was it an easy transition for you to switch over to ukulele, or are you still transitioning with that, or what? How's that go?
I'm getting better on it. I mean, the reason I picked it is still got four strings. I
Yeah.
could never figure out the guitar because somehow I've always had trouble just gripping the chords on the guitar. I've got very small fingers and nearly every fretboard is too big for me. So I thought, right, small fingers. Wow, there's a smaller instrument than the guitar, so that's how the idea came about. Then I thought, that's typical mini ukuleles. That's too small, so I opted for a decent-sized concert ukulele, which is like a kid's guitar almost, and I'm getting on fine with that.
And the good thing is it's easier if you're going out somewhere, easier to bring around than bringing a bass guitar. A bass guitar is a pretty big piece of
Yeah.
equipment to
Hmm.
carry around, and usually,
And the
I
amps are
mean,
heavy.
and yeah, yeah, I was gonna say you got the amp too, unless you have some place that has the amp already, but that's usually not the case. You're usually bringing your own amp if
Yeah.
you can't just plug in. And that was another thing that was kind of mind blowing. I've seen people that they have their phone and they like if they're rappers or singer songwriters that just have their music and they just take their phone, plug right into the house PA system, and that's it. And
Hmm.
it hurts. Like I remember carrying these big tubs with
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff on top of the tubs, and now
Oh
people
yeah.
just pull out their phone and
Yeah. Well,
plug right on in.
I've just sold my 450-watt bass stack because I can't ever see me carrying that beast again. So
Yeah,
somebody else can do that.
I totally get that one. And yeah, it's nice to just be able to, you know, compact everything down a little bit, compact everything, not compact, compact everything down and make everything a little simpler. And
Yeah.
so what do you have a name for your musical collective of sorts, or is it Silke
Um,
Harvey?
it's Silke Harvey. I haven't got anything else sorted out yet. I mean, like I said, I was bass player and like backing singer in various bands over the years, never my own outfit. So who knows what's going to happen? I've had a look online. I've found a few places like Jam Kazam where you can actually jam in real time these days with people. So who knows? I might have a
Uh,
go at that and see what happens.
like through this, like kind of like a
Yeah,
Zoom type of thing.
yeah. Yeah, they
So
somehow
yeah,
figured out the trick with no lag. I don't know how they do it.
yeah, that's what I was just going to ask about. I was talking with a woman a few days ago on the podcast, and she did some. Uh, it was, I think, and she said it was in Europe and Asia and in North America. She was doing some streaming event during the pandemic, and yeah, I mean, I was the first thing I was like, okay, so where was the lag? What was the hiccup on
Hmm.
that? And I mean, yeah, just being able to get past that. Once you can get past that, I mean, the possibilities are endless with that. Just being able to make that, the music
Hmm.
community so much more accessible to, and especially is
Yeah.
cool for, smaller
Hmm.
bands and stuff that you wouldn't really be able, that wouldn't have, the funding to go tour
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
different continent, different
Yeah.
country, and
And
just, yeah.
even for local bands, I mean, I know in my area, rehearsal rooms cost an absolute fortune. So even if you're a bunch of local guys and girls wanting to play, it'll save you tons of money for the weekly rehearsals.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw this thing today. They're starting to do a thing that's sort of like Airbnb, but for like rehearsal spaces, or
Hmm.
like places to do. I guess it's more for people doing like video stuff, however they're vlogging, or
Yeah,
whatever the kids do now, all that stuff, and that seems to be more of a popular thing. But I mean, if you can get it where you don't have to pay for that, because I mean, even the office space was
hmm,
just a ridiculous amount. Once I had an office when I first started hypnosis, but I had a sweet deal there, and so that's the only reason why I had it. And then I
hmm.
moved, and it was like a year before like the whole pandemic, and I was just, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try out this Zoom, and because I was working with some people that didn't want to leave their house. They were,
Yeah,
and so I was like, well, I can just do this. I get the same effect
hmm,
if I was with them and there, and then they can just stay at home and they can be comfortable and not have to go into some weird office
yeah,
where they're not comfortable. And so, I mean, that was a huge one. And then, but everyone was still just very, I don't know. And then COVID hit, and then everyone was like, okay, this is what we do now. And
yeah.
so it became a lot easier. And so, with your Reiki work, and you said Reiki, and what was the other thing you
Chakra
said?
dancing.
Chakra dancing. So do you do that in person, or do you do that online at all?
I started off doing it online when I first transitioned, but then since I started my publishing company, I haven't done any of that. I incorporate the work with my authors now, but I am no longer giving separate Reiki sessions.
Oh, do you miss it? Are you happy with the transition, or are you wanting to integrate it into your
Um,
writing experience, or?
I'm pretty happy with the transition because myself, I did those early Zoom sessions for Reiki, and I decided I preferred the hands-on. But
Sure.
unless I get a really good uh, deal here on like starting up again, it's exactly what you said. Rental space is just ridiculous, and I live in an area as well where people are not very spiritually inclined. They'd rather go for a massage than for Reiki because they just don't really get it what it is. So I thought to myself, I've actually found something that I really love doing, so why struggle setting up another business? I might get back to it in the future, who knows, because I'm planning retreats at some point.
Oh,
Then I will probably, or most likely will, incorporate it into the retreats, but for now I'm really happy with the book publishing.
all right. And so, what what was the idea to start to be a book publisher? What was the aha moment of time to be a book publisher? What happened there?
Um, I was starting to write my own book and was going around the internet researching ways you can publish nowadays because at that time I hadn't done anything publishing wise since the 90s, since I published our music. So I found out there's self-publishing and hybrid publishing and traditional publishing. So I was exploring all these routes, and somehow I ended up in the Facebook group of a lady called Monique Alvarez, who runs AIMA Publishing. and she specializes in teaching women how to set up their own publishing companies. And whilst I was on that call, I suddenly just realized, one of those moments in life, yeah, I think I found it, the light went on, because I've always been a book nerd, I've always loved writing, I love publishing. I used to run my own indie record label in the 90s. I thought, hey, I think we've found the perfect combination here.
Yeah. And so, okay, so side note, so what was the indie label, the indie record label, what kind of artist did you have on that?
And the label was called Kissy Music, and it was basically my husband and I, all the work that we've done. I mean, together we recorded over 500 songs over the years.
Whoa. So what happened with those 500 songs? Where are they floating around? Did any of those songs get repurposed for anything
Yeah.
in your
Well,
life or other people's lives?
some of the songs are still around, the ones that were professionally recorded, because they were an assortment of everything from home tracking recording right through to early computer recording to pro studio recordings. So all the pro recordings are on SoundCloud now under Inner Hippie Music.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay. And so I guess is there a way to mix writing and or writing slash publishing slash music slash Reiki all together into one one giant project at some point for the culmination of your life's
Yeah.
work into something, or is that or
Well,
are they all separate?
I'm thinking about it. I've started songwriting now, and with a bit of luck and a bit of determination, I'm wanting to write my one-woman musical.
Oh, all right. Okay. Um, okay, when that one woman musical comes uh into existence, would you be the one woman musical performing it? The
Yeah,
one, okay, all right. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
totally.
I yeah, I think that would be an exciting project to do and a lot of fun to get
Mm-hmm.
to use, different aspects of your life and be able to put them together and show
Yeah.
off something new and unique. And so if people are looking to find you on the internet or wherever they want to find you, where are they going to do that? How are they going to get a hold of you and find your work?
It's really easy to find me on the internet. I'm on Facebook under Silke.Harvey, and that's a public profile so anyone can find it. I've got my company website, innerhippiebooks.com. And apart from that, if you type in Silke Harvey, the Inner Hippie, Google is full of my links and images.
All right. And yeah, I'll put this down in the show notes so everyone can easily get to it and yeah, make it simple. So yeah, and so thank you again for being on, getting to talk to me for a bit and just not knowing where we're gonna go. And we went somewhere and
Yeah,
we got to here. So that's a
yeah,
good thing. And yeah, I enjoyed getting to talk with you and learn about you and everything else. And
yeah.
so
Thank you
yeah,
for
so
having me. It was
you're
great
very
fun.
absolutely. And yeah, have a good rest of your evening there. I believe afternoon still. You're in
Afternoon
afternoon.
still. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, have a good afternoon. We'll talk to
yeah.
you soon then.
See you later. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right, you guys. There you go. There you have it. That's Silke Harvey. I might have said that incorrectly at the beginning. I think it said Silky, but it's Silke. But maybe that's how, I don't know. I hope I didn't say it wrong, but I don't know. I try. I'm trying. Come on. Come on. And you guys, thank you. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, scribe, scribe, and subscribe. Share it, download it, put it in the car, play it with your friends. Be like, oh, I'm gonna listen to Rusty. I'm listening to the podcast today. Where's the new episodes dropping? All the fucking time is dropping is when it's dropping. So you guys, they're all just so many. There's so many podcasts that are in the past and so many that are scheduled for the future. You're not gonna have a hard time being able to find episodes of this. So get on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network. Check it out. Check out the Public Access Podcast. Going back to 2013. And you guys, that is the show, man. Boom.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Ernest! Ernest! Ernest!
Yes, Pee-wee.
You brought the snacks, right?